When Japan was announced to be coming to Football Manager this year, I knew I'd be heading there at some point. And with Park to Prem coming to a close, it's time to start a brand new chapter. Last year we went to Union Berlin. The year before that we went to Atalanta. This summer, we're tumbling down the leagues a little bit. We're heading to the 5th tier of Japan. Yes, welcome to episode 1 of Tokyo Rising. We are going to be managing in Japan. You can see here I've got a big custom database set up. I'm going to have a video covering this in the near future. If this video gets to 4,000 likes, I will drop it by the end of the week so you guys can start a save game like this of your own. But truly, this is going to be perhaps the biggest challenge I've ever undertaken in Football Manager. Japan in football is mental. Football leagues, they're known as being pyramids. You nicely filter out the teams. In Japan, their 4th tier has 1 league, their 5th tier has 9 leagues and over 130 teams. Those 130 teams compete for 2 promotion spots, and I've decided it's a good idea to undertake that challenge. Yes, that is right, we have got down to the National Regional Leagues Division 2 loaded in Japan. Imagine English non-league, lower league save games on steroids. That's basically the challenge. Now, over 10 years ago on this channel, I ventured into Japan. A decade on, we are back for this save game. Work the space, heading from little old England and heading to the Kanto Football League. Yes, that is right. We're heading to Kanto. No, this isn't a Pokemon Let's Play, but we are the manager of Tokyo 23 FC, a name that just, I feel like, rolls off the tongue. In terms of how I plan to set up my manager, we like to attack and do shooting training here. So that's all I'm going to offer advice on. I feel like it'd be hypocritical if I offered fitness training advice. And here we are. Media prediction of 8th for the first year. That doesn't sound so bad until you realise that in our regional league, there's only 10 teams. Yeah, less than ideal. And our fierce rivals, Tokyo United. We better beat them this year. So if you're a fan of Park to Prem, I don't feel like this is going to feel too different, minus the fact we could be stuck in the non-leagues for quite a little while. Here we are at Tokyo 23 FC. We have 200 season ticket holders, and the board, fairly simple, remain in the league, play attacking football, be competitive against our rivals in Tokyo United. Here they are. I hate them already. Now, I know what some people are going to be wondering, Jack, what is the aim of this save game? What's the end goal? Fantastic question. There's the ultimate end goal, which would be to win the Asian Champions League, potentially trying to beat Saudi Arabian teams and Middle Eastern teams with unlimited money in the final. But being realistic for just a moment, we're starting in the 5th tier. As I mentioned, there's 130 teams. 2 teams get promoted. Depending on how long we're stuck in our current tier, maybe just making it to being a professional football club is the end goal. Yeah, I've not really figured it out yet. Now, as for a little bit of a history lesson on Tokyo 23 and why I've decided to pick this team, firstly, I very nearly managed them a decade ago as part of a lower league Japanese save game that never happened, and since then it's felt like a little bit of unfinished business. They've climbed up through the Football League, and since arriving in the Kanto Division 1, for the last 11 years, they've just remained in the same division. You might notice there's a green dot here which indicates promotion. Ignore that, that is a lie. So we're already familiar with one of our rivals in Tokyo United. We are also big rivals with Nankatsu Soccer Club, who I believe are owned by the creator of Captain Tsubasa. And just to give you an idea of what we're up against in our first season in charge, this team have former Japanese internationals with nearly 100 caps on £11,000 a week. Just for a little bit of context, our wage budget is £7,000, although we're not spending near that yet. Perhaps also worth acknowledging at this point, my current contract lasts 1 year, so let's hope that we stay up, otherwise this could be the shortest Let's Play ever. So just as a little bit of an explainer, because I appreciate not everyone's going to be familiar with the intricate inner workings of the Japanese Football League. Of course, you're probably familiar with the likes of J1, J2 and J3. They are in Football Manager by default. The next division down is the JFL, which is owned by a completely different soccer association and hence is not in Football Manager licensed. In this save game here, we are going to have it active because this is the league above us. You'll notice crucially down at the bottom of this fourth tier, there is one team that gets relegated automatically and one that goes into a relegation playoff. How do we fit into the grand scheme of things, I hear you ask? Fantastic question. So below the JFL, there are 9 regional leagues like our own, with one automatic promotion spot, or at least it looks like a promotion spot because it's big and green. It's not a promotion spot. You just have to finish top to make it to the next stage of the promotion qualifying campaign. If you win your regional league, you go into the National Regional League final series. Now, the other competition that really matters for us is the Shakajin Cup. In real life, this competition has 80-minute matches. Football Manager literally does not let you have 80-minute matches because that is a ridiculous thing. I have no idea why this cup competition has it, but the bottom line is that each regional league has their own little mini knockout competition. The winners, the teams that progress the furthest in this competition, are able to make it to the Shakajin Cup main event, and the 3 best placed teams who don't win their regional leagues but place best in this cup competition, they also qualify for the promotion stage. So if you don't finish top, you just need a miracle cup run, basically. And if you're sat thinking, Jack, I'm struggling to follow this, I'm struggling to explain it too. So I have just got a little example to show you of how promotion works. Here we are in 2029. So the 9 regional league winners of the 9 divisions that make up the 5th tier, as well as the 3 best placed teams of the cup competition that hadn't already qualified via being a champion, going to this stage, the regional league stage, which looks mad. 3 groups of 4 with the best second place team qualifying. Want to know what's even madder? The games for this competition take place on the 10th of November, the 11th of November, and the 12th of November. That's right, the group stage I just showed you takes place on one weekend. So you know what? You can make it through this round, you can do well there, become one of the 4 final teams, you then make it into the final series where you play 3 more group games. Good news here, they're played over 5 days instead of 3 days. The games. If you win the league at this point, you are promoted. Congratulations, you've made it out of this hellhole. If you finish second, you go into a playoff. That playoff is against the team in the league above you. And as you can see here, despite running that entire gauntlet, winning their regional league, Karui Daiichi High School lost in the JFL playoff final. Fuji retained their place, and as a result of that, in the JFL league for the 2029 season, there was only one newly promoted team out of 130 clubs. I'd like to think at this point you're starting to realise why this save game could just go on forever with me in the 5th tier. So yes, whilst I would love to make it to the J1 League and become the Japanese champion and the Asian champion of the world, Asia, realistically, let's get out this tier first. So in terms of our current squad at Tokyo 23 FC, Tomoya Sawa is our key man, 26 years old, very, very good player by our squad standards. I suppose by the fact this guy has 5-star current ability, and then you look at his attributes where he has 1 technical above 10, you're starting to realise the level of football we are going to be playing at. For a moment, I just looked at my first team and panicked. Good news here, this isn't all the players that we've got. We have a B team for some reason. Feels completely unnecessary to have a B team. I feel like I should probably promote some of these players to the senior team and make sense of things. Now, I should point out, using the mods that we are using for this save game, we are actually able to start at the beginning of the 2024 season. Ordinarily in Football Manager, if you manage in Japan, you can only start in 2023. On top of that, we have all the latest transfers and latest promotion relegations for the current football season in Japan, and all the squads are up to date, including our own, and I am beginning to question, what the hell do Tokyo 23 do in real life? Because I have one right back, kind of. This guy is the only right back. Do we even have a left back? The answer to that question is yes. Maeda is my only left back. He is a competent left back with 1 crossing, 1 dribbling. I mean, he's got more ones in his technicals than, I don't know what. I feel like I'd have better technicals than him if I was in Football Manager as a player. Yeah, Maeda here, not great. A left back on the shopping list. Apparently he is transfer listed as well. Let's not have him transfer listed, Football Manager. He's probably going to be useful. I was worried I was going to struggle with player names in this save game. I've got a striker called Genya Handa, and I've got Matoki Kanda. So I've got Handa and Kanda as my best 2 strikers. I feel like I need to sign another striker just so I don't have to start them both at the same time. Otherwise, I am going to balls up the commentary. So I have just quickly here mocked up a tactical system that I think we could kind of play. It fits within our squad, minus the fact that we don't have a left back or right back. Kurita here is currently our best right back. He's got lots of 1s in his technicals as well. I feel like at this point, he is not even depth at right back, is he? Same with Maeda at left back. I need fullbacks this summer. Appreciate I have said summer there. Worth noting, think it's actually January. I mean, it's summer somewhere in the world. What I am beginning to realise here is that we have quick players. Matsumoto might be the best player in our team. 12 acceleration, 12 pace. At this level, with good determination and some decent consistency in important matches, this guy, as depressing as it might sound, might be our main man. Sadly, I think he is going to have to play at left mid because I don't have any other left mids. And Hattori, he's quick as well out on the right-hand side. In fact, he's got 15 acceleration. He's also got 1 dribbling. So he can run really quick, just don't give him the football, is what I'm beginning to realise here. I have demoted a few players down to the B team as I attempt to sort things out here. What I am quickly realising is every single player at the club is currently on a 1-year contract. Which, I mean, in some ways that means I can rebuild really nicely at the start of the next year. But equally, I feel like I've got to renew some deals and get some consistency going. I've basically got to work out who's worth keeping rather quickly here. Now, right now in game, it is the 8th of January. Our first game of the year is against Hosei University in March. Imagine if I lose to a university football team. That would be rather embarrassing. They play in the university leagues. It's perhaps worth noting that in Japan, both high school and university football are really essential components of kind of what makes professional football so successful as a system and what allows Japan to produce great players. This team here, their best player is Yuya Tsushima. He's very good. He's a left mid who's left-footed. I wonder if he wants to talk to me. Never mind. The university want £400,000 for him. Perhaps should acknowledge at this point. Our current transfer budget, £56,000. Wage budget, we have actually got lots of. And actually, having sorted through my first team squad, there are a load of players that I've kind of just dumped in the B team here on £100 a week. I feel like in an ideal situation, I should sell some of these to free up their wages. No disrespect to Rin here. Rin should not be earning £100 as a footballer. Certainly not at my football club. Anyway, as this is episode 1, I am desperate to play a match today. The Tokyo Cup, by the way, it's not actually the cup competition we really care about. Although, you know, I would like to do well in the Tokyo Cup. I feel like in my first game, getting knocked out by the university team would be a little bit embarrassing, perhaps also worth acknowledging here. Our B team, Tokyo 23, at Dogawa, they also play in this competition. So imagine if we got drawn against our B team. I have no idea if that's allowed in the rules or not. Let's be honest, they're probably just going to get knocked out, aren't they? Anyway, I'm going to go away, attempt to build a team that is slightly better. Our media prediction at the moment is 8th place, which would keep us just outside the relegation zone. Of course, the aim for this year is to avoid relegation. Worth acknowledging as well, if we do get relegated, we might not get sacked because I have got the league below this one active. I'd really avoid getting sacked though or relegated to start the first season, especially knowing how hard it's going to be to go up. We need to strengthen the team. Let's go see how I get on. One pre-season later, we have a brand new key player. I've been doing a little bit of wheeling and dealing in the market, and I suppose, naturally, we should start with our new key player. Yusei Ida, 20 years old. This guy, he played at a high school 2 years ago, played a year without football, but I'll tell you what, he's in Football Manager, the bloke can run, and he's also a little bit creative. I felt like we didn't really have a good creative centre mid. He is going to slot straight in alongside Sauer. I feel like if you've been watching my past series, you've basically got to eradicate your idea of the standards for footballers here. Speaking of which, let's talk about a man who was playing in the league above us in Shunta Aoki, 23 years old. He is a left back. We needed fullbacks. I've got one. This guy, I mean, look, he's got good acceleration, not great pace, which is a bit of a weird combo. Fundamentally, he's better than Maeda, who was going to be our left back. And alongside him, you may have spotted, I have added one more left back option in Tsushima. This guy can play at left mid, which was somewhere where we lack depth, and he can also play at left back. I've got him in on loan for the year. Now, we brought in Ida to be a good little creative centre mid, but to be honest, the rest of the centre mids in our team were leaving a lot to be desired creativity-wise. That is why we've picked up Moriyama. This guy has given up his university education to come and play for us. He can play anywhere across the attacking kind of midfield positions as well as centre mid, which is where I think he will play for us mostly. To start the year, we are going to be playing this 4-4-2 with the kind of wide attacking mids deeper, but if we are chasing games, naturally those players are going to end up being the first players moved further up the pitch. When that happens, someone like Moriyama can potentially step in. We needed a right back. I went out there, I found a right back. Masaki Mitsuhashi, this guy, pretty blooming good, I think. 19 years old, another man that we've picked up from a university team. They play in the Kanto University League. He's graduated early. I'm going to hope for us he can do the business. He is going to be our main starting right back this year. I hope he's going to live up to my expectations because I am paying him £180 a week. There is one man here alongside Ida who's earning £500 a week. He's also using one of our free foreign player slots. Now, before I talk about the fact we've signed a South Korean player, a bit of context here. I was checking out our rivals in Tokyo United and I noticed they had signed a South Korean goalkeeper who was a free agent. So naturally, I did what anyone would do with their rival team. I copied their homework. I went and I changed my scouting range to East Asia. Worth noting that to scout the entire of East Asia versus Japan is only £1,000 difference. So I thought for a month, let's stick it on East Asia and see what we can find. There were some good South Korean players like Park Jun-sun here, who I had the option to sign. Decided that offering this guy £1,000 a week wasn't a good idea as a signing. But the man we did end up picking up in Jin Hyuk here is a very good player. 21 years old. He is the most well-rounded average centre-back ever. Slightly inconsistent, which is a concern, but he has 11 jumping reach. 11. I know what you're thinking. That doesn't sound impressive. Now, just for a little bit of context here as to why 11 jumping reach is huge, here are the 5 centre-backs that play in our first team. Jin Hyuk, 11 jumping reach. The next highest is Kajiyama with 7 jumping reach, yet none of my defenders could jump. And to be fair, aerial ability we lacked in the final third as well, which is why I've picked up Kazuteru Suzuki, 23 years old, striker, £14,000 for this guy. £14,000 isn't exactly going to bankrupt us, but it's not an insignificant sum of money. I'm going to hope he can be a decent striking option for us. You can see in terms of the ranking of our current players, he's not rated as highly as players like Handa. And another man he's not rated as highly as is Yuga Fukumoto. This guy, 21 years old. He was a right attacking mid who had some attacking ability at striker. I've been training him at striker all summer. He's now competent. And when you look at him, I feel like he's got the makings of a good lower league striker. I don't want to say it too loudly. This bloke is potentially our best player behind Sauer at centre mid of the Tokyo 23 players that were already at the club. One more player I forgot to mention, Koji Katayama, signed him because he can play left back and right back. He has no real ability whatsoever. He's just a body who can play either side. 16 years old, generated at the start of the game as a free agent. Worth acknowledging, I am using the new GAN face pack. That does mean that any new gen players that get generated by the game will have real faces in this save game. I did mention before, didn't I, the need to remove some B team players, try and get rid of those players on £100 a week. Good news, Rinner's pissed off. Yeah, we've got rid of him and he's gone on an amateur deal to another club. So I was quite literally correct when I suggested he wasn't good enough to be paid as a full-time footballer. The other player we've let go is Sieke. He has left as well to go on an amateur deal. Again, nowhere near good enough for our team. There's still players in this B team on £100 a week I'd like to get rid of. You can see a sea of them transfer listed here. I'm hoping at some point someone will make a bid on them. Now, in all honesty, I didn't really expect to do quite as much transfer business as we've done, but given the fact we literally had no left backs and right backs, that of course was a main area of concern. And alongside our very pacey wingers like Matsumoto and also of course Hitori, who can run but can't dribble, we just lacked a creative centre mid, which is why I opted to bring in Ida and pay him this £500 a week. I'm hoping he is going to be a really great player for us in the team. Normally he would play alongside Sauer, but sadly Sauer is injured to start the year, so he's not available. And it does mean that Takahashi, who's one of our backup centre mids, will be playing there. I feel like between Takahashi and Sugihara, the quality of our backup centre mids really does drop off from our main two men. Now, just to talk a little bit about the tactics for this year, we're playing the 4-4-2, and I feel like our big strength is pace in the wide areas and in the attacking third. With that in mind, and the fact we're predicted to finish 8th out of 10 teams, I feel like opting for more of a counter-attacking style of play is the name of the game. So when we have the ball, we're going to look to play into space and work it down the wide areas. We're not looking for the overlaps, because the look for overlap instruction forces centre mids to hold on to the ball a little bit more, for wing backs to overlap. I don't want that. I want to be breaking quickly, and to achieve that, we are going to attempt this really defensive style of play where we drop off, have a low block, and really just defend compactly. But when we do get the ball in transition, we're going to look to counter, distribute it quickly to those wider players, and just try and use pace to get in behind teams. I feel like that is the big strength of our team this year. Worth acknowledging, I am only training the one tactical system for now, fully aware of the fact there are going to come times in games where we do need to chase things and play on the front foot more. I will work on that once the team team has started to pick up this system a little bit more. Suppose that might be a concern for this game against Jose University, because if they are playing a more defensive shape as perhaps a slight underdog against us, well, they might be difficult for us to break down given our style of play. But you know what? We have this game today, and then we have actually another 3 weeks until the league season begins. Speaking of which, Tokyo United, first live commentary away from home of the year, first away day maybe? I think it might have to be to the Olympic Park #1 stadium. I'm not being funny, if your stadium is named the #1 stadium, that screams insecurity, doesn't it? I love the fact I'm 1 episode in here. I'm already taking shots at Tokyo United. Away days, by the way, are coming back this series. Anyway, saying all of that, I've had this really productive pre-season. I feel like we've achieved a lot. I like the look of our team. I feel like Ida at centre and mid is the man to keep an eye on. Our wingers as well, I'm keen to see do well. Fukamoto, I feel like, is the most important player in our team. If he steps up and gets goals, we could be golden. I did look for alternative striking options to the players that you've seen I already signed, but ultimately, there wasn't any superstar strikers. So we've added in superstars elsewhere. Let's hope they click in this first game. Also, after a strong start here, I'm actually allowed 7 subs. Probably should just add some players to the subs bench, shouldn't I? New save game. I know people are going to ask, Jack, what are the settings? We have TV camera in this house, lowest height, max zoom. I have the match speed up once between highlights, and we are golden. Okay, you know what? We've not conceded in the first 3 minutes. Of course, like I mentioned, we're playing this deeper sitting style of play. I want to invite teams onto us when they don't have the ball to create this space in behind for players like Handa to use and abuse. Kenya Handa, first goal of the work the space era, take a bow, my son. I mentioned earlier as well about the fact there are lots of players with only 1 year on their contracts, in fact the entire team. With all the players I've signed, they've got optional 1 year extensions, and Matsumoto, who got the assist there from left mid, who probably is our best player, at least on paper, I've actually given him a new deal that kicks in at the end of the current season. He is locked in for the long haul, which is a bit of a gamble to be offering a player a long-term contract before he signed for us, but to be honest, he does look like he could be one of our best players, at least on paper, out on the left-hand side, and an assist within the first 10 minutes feels like a pretty blooming good sign. Here is the man of the moment. Look at that great header. That's going to be worth £300 next year, at least according to the amount I've offered him. Yeah, it's a little bit of a wage rise. Aoki, another one of the new additions at left-back, floating in. Fukamoto's there, wins his header, and it's just over the bar. We are playing against the university team, and in our first game, 33 minutes in, some would call it football terrorism. We've had 29% of possession, but we are winning, and now we've got a free kick. I've noticed here, Jin Hyuk, the guy I've brought in to be good in the air, is the man taking the free kicks. This is why you can't just leave it to your assistant to assign kick takers in Football Manager, or maybe my assistant's a genius, because Aoki has got the assist. Handa has scored a second goal. I mentioned that we had Kanda and Handa. You might have noticed Kanda not in the starting 11. He is on the bench, but Handa is the man of the moment right now, smashing it in. Questionable goalkeeping. We might have less than 30% of the ball, but I'll tell you what, we're winning 2-0. It might only be the Tokyo Cup, but you know what? For some players here, this is an audition. And right now, Genya Handa, take a bow, my son. You might notice he's unhappy. I got rid of the vice captaincy off him. But despite the fact he's unhappy, he's playing bloody well on the football pitch. I feel like I now just need to hope that he actually wants to sign a new deal and stops being sad at some point. Imagine if he ends up being my top goal scorer and then we just lose him on a free. That would be very on brand, really. 15 minutes into the second half, there's been no highlights. We get 5 subs here. I feel like we should give as many players as possible an opportunity to prove themselves. Kobayashi, by the way, is our club captain. He's a striker with 2 stamina. Yeah, there's a reason I'm not starting him today. He looks quite good on paper as well, annoyingly, but the 2 stamina is just upsetting. I'm going to give Shimizu here a little bit of a run out. I want to see what he can do for us. Moriyama, as well as the youngster, I don't want to get complacent, but I am going to take off Ida and give the 20-year-old here some first-team football. Look, he left university to join. I feel like I have to play him or I'm going to feel guilty. I've not really talked about our centre-back options. Maeda is one of our backup centre-backs that I have on the bench, mainly because he can play left-back and right-back as well. In our league games, we only get 5 subs, so that versatility is useful. At the moment, Kajiyama is the man we have got playing at centre-back. He can't really jump, he doesn't really run quick, but I'll tell you what, he can bloody tackle and position himself. But I think right now, I'm going to bring in Maeda. Like I said, the Tokyo Cup is really an audition for many of these players. You know, if you told me, Jack, what is the worst position you could get an injury in? Right back. Would have been the issue. Mitsuhashi, new right back, very excited about him. He's got injured. What is the injury? Potential foot injury. I feel like a foot injury doesn't sound so serious. In terms of the right back options we have, Chishima probably is our best right back option, just using that loosely. Of the right-footed right back options, Katayama would be the man I have to bring in. And with respect to him, if we just compare him with Mitsuhashi, the man who's got injured, I don't want to have to use him. Is this going to be one of those moments where it's a case of we won, but at what cost? You know, what did it cost me to win? Everything. Or rather, my only competent right back. If you were wondering, by the way, Jack, why are you not showing any match highlights the second half? None have happened. A Sacco for them on the far side is weaseling his way in. Nagasaki whips it into the back post. It's headed downwards, and Ishikawa scores. It's 2-1 here. The 10 fans in the corner of the ground are loving it. This is the point where I realise I've not actually checked with the Tokyo Cup. What are the rules if it's just a draw? Do we have penalties or extra time, or is it a replay? I really hope it's not a replay. Not that I don't believe in our players, but with 5 minutes left, I have just gone and checked the rules. If it's still 2-1, we're fine. If it's 2-2, it's extra time and penalties if needed. It's 2-2. People say you can't play a low block and defensive in Football Manager, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to prove them wrong. First season, there's low expectations. Teams are going to attack us. Let's bait them in. I've tried it here. Attacking goal there has been shocking. And it is 2-2. Maybe the people who say you can't play a low block are right. So for YouTube reasons, episode 1 should really be aiming to be about 25 minutes long. This game's gone to the extra time in the first game against a university team. This is not the start I needed. I'm going to get shouty. They're all sad. God, why have I got a bunch of bottle jobs here? I've tried to cheer them up and not really done it successfully. The worst thing about it is Matsumoto and Jin Hyuk, who are probably 2 of our better players, are 2 of the players who look disheartened. Why did I take off Ida at centre mid? Why did I take off my best creative player? We might be about to learn a very painful lesson here about rotating the team early and underestimating university teams. You know, it's unfamiliar territory for me. Why are they still on the attack? Why has Nagasaki scored? It's 3-2. Also, there's just a man dead on the pitch. Tommy Dokoro, I hope he's okay. Is he okay? So, Jack, how did episode 1 of Tokyo Rising go? Well, we lost to a university team. And so that doesn't sound good. Yeah, we were winning 2-0 at half-time and we lost 3-2, maybe more. I love the fact I've just accepted we've lost this game. You know how earlier I mentioned, yeah, it'd be good to get an attacking system set up eventually. This is exactly why I need one now, because I'm in a situation here where I need to go on the attack and I need to change up the system. And I don't just have a nice little preset, I've just got to drag everyone forward. Into the second half of extra time we go. We've gone attacking. I feel like I've complicated things for the players. I've accidentally hit praise there when I was meant to hit demand more. And now we've lost to a university team when we were winning 3-2. Look at the minutes they scored their goals in. Look at the match stats. I am fuming. I am fuming. I don't expect things to be straightforward this year. If there's a silver lining to take from this, Nankatsu, our main rivals, or one of our rivals who play in the same division as us, they also lost to a university team. Maybe the university teams are just really good. Of course, what is more likely is we are just bottle jobs. Mitsuhashi, by the way, out for 4 to 5 weeks. That's. I might have to go sign a new right back. 3 journalists have turned up. You know what? If only 3 people are going to bother to turn up, the assistant can go to that. I'm trying to find a silver lining. I know we've got that injury for 4 to 5 weeks. At least the season doesn't start for 3 weeks. So we're not going to be without Mitsuhashi for too long. Of course, the issue here is that Chishima is one of our right back options and he's left-footed. And, I mean, Matsumoto could play right back, I guess. But do you really want a man with 2 tackling playing right back? Especially when he was one of our best players in the midfield last game. In terms of an episode 1 here, I really don't know what to make of things. Tokyo 23 FC, I think I've got a good vibe about this club, although based on what I've just seen, maybe I should have signed more new players. Thank you so much for watching the first episode of this series. Like I mentioned at the start of things, if this video gets to 4,000 likes this week, by the end of the week, I will drop a video covering how to install and set up the database with all the custom graphics and stuff you see me using here. So if you want to play a similar save game, you're able to do that. With this series, videos are going to be dropping every weekday at midday UK time. Be subscribed for those. Hopefully you've enjoyed this first episode. Hopefully I see you tomorrow for more. And until then, it is me, Jack. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.